What's good, Instagram? What up? We'll wait a minute or so. Give some people a chance to come in the room, depending on how Instagram has my algorithm at the moment. But I'll just give it a couple minutes, a minute or two, let some people come in the room. What up? What up? I'm going to talk about Nipsey Hussle tonight, and all the conspiracies that are surrounding his murder, his assassination, rather. I just wanted to address some stuff because I see the way that people are talking about it on the internet. It's so easy to just go with the acceptable answer to things. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the police have somebody in custody and all that. I'm sure you guys all know. We've seen the video. We saw what happened. Blurry as fuck for no reason. Google Earth can give us HD pictures of what is on the ground, but we got these blurry ass pictures whenever it comes to crimes and things of that nature. Especially when it's in the black neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? If some white lady got robbed, we would have a high def shot of whoever did it. So let's just throw that out there. But so some of the things that are really getting to me is just how quickly people will accept what they see on the news, what some random person posts online. You know what I'm saying? You look at people's stories and people just reshare whatever it is that they see. You can tell sometimes people don't even read the whole thing. They just repost it because they're falling in line. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is talking about it. Everybody wants to stay relevant, and everybody just regurgitates whatever that they find without actually checking the facts. You look at the comments in all of these people's posts, a post that I had in particular, all these trolls on there trying to say things that don't make no sense. One, people are saying Dr. Sebi was not a real doctor. So, Dr. Sebi was not a real doctor, but Michael Jackson saw Dr. Sebi as his doctor. Michael Jackson let this man treat him and give him medical advice. Michael Jackson. Say what you want to say about Michael Jackson, but that brother wasn't stupid. You know what I'm saying? He had all the money in the world and went after the best doctors in the world. So when you look at him, you look at Lisa Left Eye Lopez and this large laundry list of people that went to see Dr. Sebi. Like, for people to even believe that, and that's like the consensus that I'm seeing among Caucasian millennials that want to buy into the system. You know what I'm saying? When you come out with all these conspiracy theories, you're challenging their comfort. You know what I'm saying? So these people automatically, they want to believe what's on the news. They want to go with the information that is handed to them because they're living good. You know what I'm saying? The system is set up in their favor. So even if you come to them with something that makes sense, they're going to have cognitive dissonance. These are people that can't be reasoned with because they're a part of the system. And they want to see that system, the same system that feeds them and keeps their pockets full, they want to perpetuate that. So these are the people that are sharing all this misinformation. Dr. Sebi wasn't a real doctor. This, and that. You know what I'm saying? People are even posting, stuff about Nipsey Hussle. He was reportedly somewhat homophobic and all this other mess. And, that's the same thing that happened when X died. When XXXTentacion died, everybody was real quick to be like, oh, he did this, he did that. How can you be sorry for somebody who did all of that? And it's just like, I see all these so-called spiritualists on Instagram, but people don't understand the principle of duality. And that's spirituality 101. You know what I'm saying? That's magic 101. That's human being, Earth 101. Everything is dualistic in nature. Everything has a light side and a dark side. There's no such thing as good or bad. Those are matters of perception. And people need to really start to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's message can be really important and really impactful, even though they did some really fucked up shit in the past. It doesn't matter what they did in the past. What matters is what they do, in the present. An ex is somebody who had an awful life, treated people really, really poorly, but ultimately in the months leading up to his death, he was talking about the laws of the universe. He was talking about consciousness. He was talking about togetherness and people just, taking care of one another, looking out for each other, having each other's back, living your life with love, compassion. Now, this kind of stuff, you really have to look at the Kabbalah and understand, the principles within the Kabbalah. Kabbalah is obviously the Jewish mysticism of the Torah, of the Bible, the hidden esoteric wisdom of the Bible. It's largely based in mathematics. Kabbalah is all about the laws of the universe and how God or Source created the universe using a system of numbers, letters, and sounds. So with the Kabbalah, you can actually use this system to manipulate your reality. There's something called the 72 names of God. If you've read the Torah, if you read the Bible, you grew up in the church, you've come across this. They never explained it to you because, these religions nowadays have no idea what the Bible is really talking about. But essentially, the 72 names of God were a gift given to man by the powers that be, by Source, the Anunnaki, the ETs, God, whatever you want to call it. It was given to us as a way of rising above the heavens and the stars, essentially talking about your astrological energy. Your astrological energy is your cross. Hey girl, your astrological energy is your cross, the cross that you came here to bear, the energy that you came here to dominate. It's your algorithm, it's your karma. Your astrological energy has within it everything that you've done in every lifetime, and as a result, it attracts what you need to move on to the next level. Kabbalah talks about this. Kabbalah talks about karma being a boomerang. What up, Nai? Kabbalah talks about karma being a boomerang. Whatever you do right now is going to come back to you. It might be tomorrow. It could be 1,000 years from now. It could be in a past incarnation because time is not linear. Whatever you do will come back to you in some shape or form. However, if you understand the 72 names of God, if you understand the laws of the universe, you can transcend the stars. The stars is basically the record of the observer, the universal consciousness that's writing down what you're doing, paying attention to what you're doing so that it can reflect that back to you. So the idea of the 72 names of God is to rise above that mathematically, to erase your karma and say, no, I don't accept that. I rise above that. And that might seem unfair for some people who might have done some fucked up shit to just get away with it. But in the Kabbalah, what it says is that if a man reaches the level of consciousness necessary to understand and wield the names of God, that man is no longer the same person that he was when he committed all of those crimes. So that right there is just like, boom, they don't teach you that in Sunday school. But that's the kind of shit that's really in the Bible, hidden behind all the other stuff that they try to bring to the forefront to distract you from the actual keys to the kingdom, which is your mind, the inside, the inner you. That's the kingdom of heaven. So ultimately, when people do really awful shit, but then they have this turnaround, Nipsey was one of those brothers. He grew up in the hood. He grew up on the streets. He gangbanged because that's what he knew. But then he climbed the ladder in his mind. He learned, you know what I'm saying? He rose in consciousness. He learned about the laws of the universe. We know this from some of the things that he said in his interviews, things about energy. XXX same thing. What that brother did to that girl was awful, absolutely disgusting. But if you look at his natal chart, he has Pluto conjunct his moon in Sagittarius. And if you study astrology, you know that that's a really volatile energy to have in your chart. You know what I'm saying? He had to work out. That brother had a lot of demons, and you can hear it in his music. But ultimately, he changed his tune. He started preaching positivity. He was doing a lot of philanthropy, you know, going to homeless shelters, children's shelters, handing out presents. He started this hashtag to get other people to start giving back as well. Like, that brother was putting out infectious positivity. You know what I'm saying? Out into society. So now, with all of that being said, you know, we look at all these brothers, whatever, they had a really tough past. It's those tough things in life that make you climb the ladder in consciousness. You know what I'm saying? If you're born with money, you live a pedestrian life, you never do anything too bad, you know, your life, you just kind of fly under the radar. What are you learning? What is really the point to that? Would you rather be out there and be limitless energy, or down here, you know, doing some dry, stale ass day-to-day mundane bullshit? Personally, I don't think that that's a good use of my time and energy, and I don't want any of that. I don't see the point of being down here in such a shitty system. This world is absolutely disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It really is. So to live that mundane lifestyle is basically to just live a lie. You might as well go to sleep for the rest of your life. You might as well be in a coma, because you are in a coma. So, you know what I'm saying? People that choose that, and that's their prerogative. You have to understand too that everybody's on a different level of development, a different level of awareness. Everyone has different karma. Some people have been here longer than others. Some people are here for the mundane day-to-day. Maybe they need to learn responsibility. Maybe they need to learn how to work hard in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, we need to start asking the right questions here, because it's always the people that wake up that are taken too soon. And it's always the ones that used to, you know, they came from something fucked up, and then the minute they change their tune, that's it. The world, the universe takes them back. Not the universe, but society, rather. You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Now, there's a couple things that people need to be aware of. One is, okay, they have some dude in custody. They're saying, you know, he had beef with Nipsey Hussle. That's what happened. He came back, he shot him, whatever. We have to understand that the technology that we see around us is hundreds, if not thousands of years behind what the people who actually run this society have at their disposal. Look at the internet, look at the media. You look at the fact that we went from Atari to PlayStation 4 in a matter of 20 years. This is all reverse engineered technology. You know what I'm saying? Evolution of technology doesn't just jump forth out of nowhere the way that it has. All, you know, we had the Roswell crash, and then all of a sudden technology just exploded. Absolutely exploded. Now you look at everything that the government lies to us about. So it really is not that hard to believe and fathom that they have technology that we can't even comprehend right now. You know what I'm saying? You look at stories of, like, basically I put it to you like this. When we start traveling interplanetary, interstellar travel, we land on a primitive planet. We're going to land there and they're going to think that we are gods, because they'd never seen a spaceship. They never seen astronauts. So the second that happens, they're going to associate us with something that they can't see and they can't understand. So the same thing happens here. But it's like people in today's society, they need to be spoon-fed something in order to believe it. So that's why we're seeing all of these shows right now. Like the OA. You turn on Netflix, everything is something sci-fi. What's good, Denise? Everything is sci-fi, everything is futuristic, everything is otherworldly. You know what I'm saying? Because they're prepping people right now. They're prepping people for the way that technology is going. They're prepping people to start being aware that there are other beings here. There have been other beings on this planet for a very long time. They've been here before us. All you gotta do is look at the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Read the Bible objectively. Take out everything that you learn from church and religion. Anywhere where there's money, there's some bullshit. 100%. Everywhere where there is money, there is some bullshit. There's an agenda. Because people are flawed. We have agendas. You know what I'm saying? Follow the money and you'll find the deception. 100%. So what I'm saying here is that the government has access to technologies that we have no idea of. So we already know about MK Ultra. We already know that they can control people mentally. We see them do it every day with the media. The people that own the banking system own this world, and they also own the media. They own Hollywood. That's why they give money to ratchet black people, so they can reinforce ratchetness and infect our young people with the same ratchet bullshit that got our parents locked up. You know what I'm saying? They control everything. This is a big ass chess game. So when you look at this Nipsey shooting, and you look at the fact that they're going to tell you that it was some beef that he had with somebody, that doesn't mean that they couldn't have still paid that dude. That doesn't mean that they don't pump chemtrails into black neighborhoods to make them angry and lock them up to get free labor for the private prison system. You know what I'm saying? Black people have been talking about this for a very long time, about them spraying chemtrails in specific neighborhoods. And they would say that after they sprayed them at a particular time, people would just start popping off in the streets. That's how you inquire free slaves and keep the guise of equality. You know what I'm saying? They want us to believe that we're free, but they use these schemes to create free labor. Slavery never ended. It just turned into something else. It's just hidden now. It's hidden right in front of our faces. The first cops in America, the police force, was created as a slave catching unit. That tells you everything right there. That shit has not changed. They're still catching slaves. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we need to start being awake to that. Just because some dude came, shot Nipsey, that doesn't mean that they weren't involved. When you look at the fact that this keeps happening, every time one of our brothers and sisters wakes up, they get killed. Not just black people either. You know what I'm saying? The same shit happened to Anthony Bourdain. He was about to make a documentary about some woke shit. Boom, all of a sudden he's dead. Left Eye literally started talking about Dr. Sebi and how he helped her and how he can cure AIDS. All of a sudden her car goes off the road and she's the only one in the car that dies. If you watch the documentary on YouTube, The Last Days of Left Eye, is literally on YouTube. She literally said the last few weeks of her life, she felt like there was a dark, evil cloud following her around. You can watch the interview. She literally said that. America was founded on the occult. All you have to do is look at the dollar bill in your wallet right now to see that. The forefathers of this country founded it on the occult. In God we trust. Ask yourself who that God is. It's the same God that is in the Bible. It's the eagle. The eagle on the dollar bill represents Enlil, who is one of the Sumerian brothers, Enki and Enlil. Enki is represented by the serpent. That's why you see on all these flags the eagle devouring the serpent. That's Enki, Enlil rather, devouring his brother, Enki. It's the same fucking story that pops up in every single culture. God, Satan, Enki, Enlil. It's the same shit. It's the same energies that have been infecting this planet since the very beginning. They created our bodies. Absolutely they did. But they pose as the creators of the universe, and they did not create the universe. Nothing with an ego can be the origin of everything. Scientifically, like, can you just understand that? Like, an ego is a perspective. If you're the creator of all things, you're above one vantage point and one perspective. If you ever seen the movie The Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky, it was in the 1975s. It's an occult classic. Basically, these people search for like the meaning of life. You know, they're looking for the ultimate answer, and they go on this quest, and at the end they find it, but nothing happens. They don't become gods, they don't find immortality. And then at the end, you see the camera zoom out, and it shows a camera crew filming them. Then it zooms out again. It shows another camera crew filming a camera crew filming the people in the scene. It zooms out again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? So basically what that is showing you, hey girl, what that is showing you is that no matter how far you go in consciousness, no matter how much higher you rise in your own mind, there will still always and forever be a higher vantage point than your own. There's always going to be a point that you cannot reach because you are not all things. Yes, we all have source within us. We're all connected to the all. We all originate from that. But that thing that existed and exists in all things does not have an ego. It doesn't have a vantage point. You know what I'm saying? It's not consciously saying, I am. It's not a perspective. It doesn't have an ego. So when you read the Bible, you have to understand that these are egos speaking. These are characters. These are created beings. They might be much older than we are. They might have a lot more power than we are. They created the system in which we live. But they are not the highest point. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you really have to understand that connection to what is going on right now, because it's literally on our dollar bill. They're still honoring that same being. These beings, these people rather, that created this country, that still maintain the power, they are highly, highly connected to the occult. These are people that practice the highest forms of magic that there is, the highest form of, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it. They have all of the access to it because they are hundreds, if not thousands, of years ahead of us with their technology. They have connected the technology between spirituality and science. They have made them one. They understand those links. You know what I'm saying? So whereas we can go and we can meditate, we can dive into our astrology, we can, dive into different systems of divination. We can go down the Ifa path, the voodoo path, the Santeria path, all of these different schools. But, you have to understand that they also have the technology that goes along with that. They can open up wormholes. They have that technology. Look at CERN and all of the stuff that they're doing over there. You know what I'm saying? So they have access to things that we cannot yet fathom. So with that being said, you have to understand that just because they tell you one thing in the news, oh, this brother died this way because this dude shot him in the face, that doesn't mean that they didn't put some work on that dude. That doesn't mean that that dude wasn't driven to that action by unseen forces, by technology, by chemicals even. You know what I'm saying? So just because we're being told one thing, that doesn't mean that that is the end all be all. Especially when you consider all of these other free thinkers that died in very similar ways. You know what I'm saying? Tupac, Biggie, Left Eye, Aaliyah, all of these people. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm, Dr. King, all of these people mysteriously died. You know what I'm saying? Even JFK, Abraham Lincoln. Every time people stand up to the agenda, they're taken out under the guise of some bullshit. So we need to start seeing through these stories. Yes, we are in a spiritual warfare, 100%. And that's the point. That's why I wanted to get on here and talk about this a little bit, because I don't think that people understand the severity of what we're dealing with, of what this screen that we're all looking at right now does. It gives them the power to look into each and every one of our lives. They can track our development. You know what I'm saying? We're all getting smarter. We're all waking up, but they know that. They know what we're looking at. They know what we're Google searching every day. They know whose charts are being read. They know what readings are happening. They hear all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when people get too close to the truth, it's very easy for them to intervene. We're all hooked up to pipes and shit that bring us water that goes in our bodies. You know how easy it would be for them to just pour some shit in your water supply? You know what I'm saying? People die mysteriously all the time and don't think about this kind of shit. If we stay in massive system and we rely on them for absolutely everything, each and every one of those things that we rely on them for gives them an entry point into your life. It gives them access and it gives them control. So, you know what I'm saying? It's so easy for them to do what they're doing. And they own the media. They own the perception. You look at the fact that Trump is president. Trump is president because people are stupid. And they knew that and they took advantage of it. And they took advantage of it in a whole new way this time. Because things are speeding up. Astrologically, the world is changing. We are waking up. You know what I'm saying? They know that their time is up, actually. You know, all of this shit sounds really scary, doom and gloom, blah, 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 but they're beefing up their presence because they know that they don't have that much time left. We're in the information age now. This is the age of Aquarius, and it will end with a golden age that is fueled by science, enlightenment, technology. It's going to be about the collective, not just, a group of men in suits. What about those who are awake but haven't been taken out? I'm thinking about Erykah Badu. Yeah, but you know what? It's about certain interests that they want to protect. You know what I'm saying? Especially the pharmaceutical companies. That's their grand agenda right now, is to make people sick because it makes them more money. But more importantly, if you look into a lot of other, conspiracies and all of this information, there's a global depopulation plan. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of books on this where they want to decrease the population of the earth so that the elites can just do their thing and maintain more control. So we're in maybe like phase 4 out of like 10 to 20 or something like that. There's a few different books on this kind of information, but at the end of the day, they protect certain interests. The pharmaceutical company is literally like the number one thing. After that, the banking system. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're so crazy gung-ho about all this Bitcoin stuff. That's literally the government's worst fucking nightmare, is blockchain and Bitcoin. And shout to my girl Natoka, who brought this to my attention. I didn't know that Nipsey Hussle was actually involved in bringing blockchain technology to America. So that is bigger almost than the Dr. Sebi stuff, because people already know about Dr. Sebi. That's a ticking time bomb. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time before more and more and more people find out about that information. But blockchain, the ability for us to create our own currency, pull our money out the banks and say fuck you, they won't let that happen. That's their number one priority. That, and then the pharmaceutical industry. Because if we make our own technology, we still don't have the medicine for all these fucking diseases that they created in laboratories. You know what I'm saying? They made us need them. And that's their protection. That they're protecting their assets by keeping us sick. Because money doesn't have any fucking value, let me tell you. 0 value. It only has value because we give it to it. If everybody tomorrow took all their money out the banks and just burned it, that would be some shit. But nobody's going to do that, obviously, because we all have to eat. But that's what I'm saying, is we have so much more power than we realize. You know what I'm saying? So they want to keep this technology out of our hands because they don't want us to make our own economy. They don't want us to, buy land and start our own game. They don't want that. They fear that. They fear the Black Messiah. Seriously. They fear the Black Messiah. They fear that one person who's going to come and unify all of us and make us stop, spending our time on petty shit. Stop buying sneakers. I'm guilty of that. I need to stop doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Stop drinking malt liquor. Stop glorifying masses' money. Buy some land. You know, bring your people out there and start over. Start our own country. Start our own shit. That's what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to do everything that they can to stop that from happening. They don't want us to own property. They don't want us to make our own systems. They don't want us to fraternize. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the hood, you don't see tables outside of these ghetto restaurants. But then you go to a white neighborhood, there's all this outdoor seating. You know what I'm saying? They want them to congregate and talk and have a good time. You go to the hood, they don't want us to congregate and talk. They don't want us to mingle. You know what I'm saying? They want us to chase that dollar and then, you know, buy drugs, go home and get locked up. That's what they want. So, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, there's just a lot of things that people need to be a little bit more aware of. The fact that this war is mostly spiritual in nature. A lot of what the other side is doing is spiritual. They have access to, you know what I'm saying? They have access to work. They have access to like the best spiritual practitioners, you know? So it's like we have to be prepared for that. We have to be open to the fact that nothing is off the table. We have to question everything we see in the news because they own the news. They could print anything they want. They can say anything they want. They can have actors come and pretend to, you know, shit like Sandy Hook, shit like that. So, and then at the same time, it is hard because you also have to be rooted in this reality. You know what I'm saying? Not everything is a conspiracy. But when it comes to the fact that our freedom fighters, our thinkers constantly end up in these situations, that's when you got to start asking the right questions. Do you believe it's a race war? I believe that they use race to trigger us. The Bible in of itself was used to create polarity. Polarity is used to trigger people, to control people. They know, if they know how you feel about certain issues, they know how to advertise to you. They know how to control you. You know what I'm saying? The Bible was used literally to create polarity, to create control. Because now they know how people's psyche works. Because for hundreds of years, people were Bible thumping. People had that beaten into them. So now, you know, people are just so much easier to control. They have all these holidays. They have all these schedules. They know when to produce certain products. Everything is consumerism. And it all started from back in the day. This is a continuation of what happened in Sumer. If you want to know what's going on right now, you have to go to the beginning, which is the Sumerian Codex. The Sumerian Codex is the oldest writing in recorded history. It's the oldest thing that we have. And they literally wrote down that beings came from the stars to colonize the earth to mine for gold. And when their demigods got tired of mining for gold, they mixed their DNA with the DNA of the primitive people on the earth at that time to create a slave race to mine for gold. So now when you think about that, gold, we're not necessarily talking about literal gold, physical currency. I want y'all to watch this show, American Gods, that's out right now. American Gods has all of the tea. American Gods is literally like giving you everything. And there's this saying in American Gods in one of the scenes where this chick is like, she said, time and attention is now the equivalent of lamb's blood. So lamb's blood in biblical times was used for ritual sacrifice to the gods. Time and attention is now the equivalent of lamb's blood. These fucking phones that we have in our hands, the TV, the media, you know what I'm saying? All this bullshit, Candy Crush. You know what I'm saying? Fortnite, and I'm guilty. I be playing too much Fortnite, and I feel guilty while I'm playing it too because I know it's a waste of time. Time is energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the new sacrifice. That's what keeps these energies going. You know, it feeds them. It gives them power. So ultimately, We need to start being a lot more aware of that. Definitely watch that show. There's so many gems in that show. I don't want to give anything away at all because this shit blew my mind. Like, there's so many different things. And then ultimately, I also just wanted to throw in, be really careful with, where you get your information from. Even with me, make sure you do your research. Don't just take anything that anyone says, that anyone puts on Instagram as truth, because there's a lot of bullshit on my timeline right now. So much bullshit. Hanapty says, so what do you recommend doing instead? Learn. Just honest. I mean, that's a little bit biased because that's in my chart. I'm constantly craving information. But do things that build your character and do things that, build the future that you want to build. Whatever that is for you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you personally want to do before you leave this physical incarnation, spend your time doing things that help you obtain that. You know what I'm saying? So in my case, I like to read a lot because a lot of my purpose here is tied into astrology. It's tied into helping other people and reading energies and things of that nature, So anything that you can do that can help you with that. And don't get me wrong, I play video games sometimes and I feel like I'm meditating. Like, it honestly calms me down. I have a lot of air in my chart, so I have to have like mad things going on at once, and at the end of the day, we have to ground ourselves. None of us are going to be this monk that goes and meditates on the top of the mountain for 20 hours of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we have to do that. But what we do have to do is start doing the research. We have to be more aware as to what is going on. And we have to start, obtaining things that lead to our freedom. Money, land, medicine, assets. We need to start building our own systems of obtaining those things so that we can start to be more self-sufficient. It's not just going to happen in this one lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It's the more that we share truth and wake people up, ultimately that will attract the society that we want a lot sooner. What books do you recommend for astrology? Planetary Pathology by Judith A. Hill. Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need by I forget. Her name is not I forget. I just forget her name. Oh, yeah. There's another really, really good one. The Light of Egypt, or The Science of the Soul and the Stars. Yes, the or is part of the name, which is weird. That one is by Thomas Burgoyne. That's a really, really good one. And then I always tell people, read the Kybalion, which is the 7 Hermetic Principles. Everyone needs to read that. Everyone should live by those laws. If everyone in this world lived by the 7 Hermetic Principles, we would have a golden age and an Atlantean society. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, thou shalt not do this and that. It's, the law of attraction, the law of mentalism, things of that nature. Let me just go through any books or documentaries. My mom is actually an author. Her book is on Amazon. It's called The Age of I Know, Unmasking the Magicians, the Bible Exposed by Vera Courtenay. Very long title, but it literally tells you what the book is about. My mom used to be a Jehovah's Witness. She, with the Bible, realized that it was mainly talking about astrology, but then was like, but they tell us astrology's evil. So she had her spiritual awakening. She, the Bible basically led her to Sumeria. So that book is all about, the gods of the Bible and where they actually come from, because entire chapters, passages, and verses of the Bible are taken verbatim out of the Sumerian Codex, literally. The story of Moses, the story of Adam and Eve, the Great Flood, all of those stories come from Sumer. So if you want to know the truth, go to the source. Don't go to, what the Catholic Church told you was the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Catholic Church kept so many books out of the Bible When you read the books that were taken out of the Bible, you know why they were taken out of the Bible. The Apocrypha series, for one, the book of Yasher, the book of Enoch, there's more than one. If you read those books, they're literally all about like UFOs and ETs intermingling with the earth, interbreeding with society. Like literally UFOs. Like literally reading some of these books that used to be in the Bible and were taken out by the church. It's literally like watching Ancient Aliens. Like I kid you not. It is that sci-fi. And you know what I'm saying? Look at the hieroglyphics. They have pictures of rocket ships and UFOs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like people look for the truth of where we come from, but they don't look at the earliest civilizations and what they wrote down and what they said happened. If a highly advanced civilization capable of building pyramids and technologies and structures that we almost can't build today, if they said that beings came from the stars and taught them everything, why the hell is that not given credence? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would we not take what they're saying as something that is important and is a part of our history and our origin? You know, especially when you look at all the archaeological findings and you look at some of these structures around the world that they absolutely 1000% did not have the technology to build. Everything about our society today is absolutely a lie. But the beauty is we chose a time to incarnate where we could actually find the truth if we knew what questions to ask. We have this magic thing on our phones called Google. You just have to ask the right questions. You know what I'm saying? So things to look into: the Anunnaki, if you're not familiar. I gave you my mom's book, The Age of I Know. There's a book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. That book is lit because it connects all of the ancient religions and cultures and their esoteric wisdom. It connects all of those. You know, so there's a chapter on Egypt. There's a chapter on the Greek gods and the Roman gods. There's a chapter on the Druids and the different magic occult systems that they had and they used. There's a chapter on astrology. There's chapters on Kabbalah. Like it literally will touch on everything for you and give you more things to read. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, oh yeah, the name is The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And that one is by Manly P. Hall. So definitely check that out. And then one other thing too, like I think my mom talks about this in her book. The guy who started Jehovah's Witnesses, his name is Charles Taze Russell. His first cousin is John Smith, literally the dude who started the Mormon religion. Like, if that doesn't tell you what the fuck is going on in this world, like, I could stop there, but let me keep going, and you can Google this. They are both buried on Masonic burial grounds. Both of their gravestones are pyramids with all-seeing eyes on them. I kid you not, you can literally fucking Google this right now. Like, it's right there for everyone to see. Two people in the same family that obviously knew each other and were in cahoots created two of the world's major religions that are now trillion-dollar industries. You know what I'm saying? Like, religious donation money is tax-free. It's the biggest fucking scam in the world. So definitely check that out. Not only that, but the dude, Charles Taze Russell, the guy who started Jehovah's Witnesses, his fucking gravestone has a cross on it. If you know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, they tell you that Jesus didn't die on a cross. They call it a pagan symbol, which it is a pagan symbol. The cross represents the zodiacal axis that the sun, not the S-U-N, not the S-O-N, travels around. Leonardo da Vinci once said that the greatest crime of man was changing the worship of the sun into worship of man. You see what I'm saying? Christianity was a solar cult when it first started. There was some energetic. A lot of people say that there's crazy energy over there. Word. But yeah, I think I'm going to hop off of here now. I just wanted to touch on a couple things with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're wary of people that you get your information from. There's a lot of fakes out there, and I be catching people too. I catch people when they say one thing and then they come out and they do something else. Like, I know right away. I just know. So make sure, you know, if you're going to get some sort of divinatory advice from somebody, make sure that it's rooted in a system. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go to somebody who's just like, ooh, you know, I feel blah, blah, blah. Unless they're really about it, because there really are some people who got it like that. 100%, there are people who are that psychically connected. But that's very few and far in between. You know what I'm saying? It's not shorty down the corner who got, you know, 400 followers, or even somebody down the street with, you know, 20,000 followers. You know what I'm saying? You really have to use your resonance to understand, you know, and make sure that people are, you know, putting out the right vibration. You know what I'm saying? If you look at somebody's timeline, that somebody's page, and you see mostly perspective, you see their own feelings, their own opinions on shit, why the hell would you ever get a reading from a person like that? You know what I'm saying? You need to get divinatory information from somebody who's objective, from people who aren't going to put their own feelings and emotions into things. Like Ariana, what up, girl? Ariana's a really, really good one. If anybody's in here and they want to get a tarot reading, hit her up. She's fantastic. But that's what I'm saying. We need people like that, you know, people that are objective. People that aren't going to read your cards based upon what they went through that day, or what they feel about a situation. Or maybe they, you know, some people hate men, some people hate women. You don't want them putting that spin in the cards, and then here you are taking that information. You know what I'm saying? All these people that, you know, post, ooh, huge shift, literally every fucking week. There's not a huge shift every week. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? And if there's a huge shift, show me astrologically. Because energy works through astrology. 1000%. That's what astrology is. It's literally the weather of energy. So with that being said, if people are going to put information like that out, then, you know, what is it based on? It's not just, you know, whatever you feel and think in the moment. There's a difference between spirituality, intuition, and psychic energy, and imagination. And right now, Neptune is in Pisces, and people keep confusing their imagination with divination. And it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Sure, there absolutely are people that literally just receive messages. They don't need tarot cards. They don't need nothing. It just comes to them. But that's very, very, very rare. And if they do have that, we'll be able to see it in their chart. Show me your natal chart. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And 100%, if people that have that sort of energy have planets in their 12th house, you know what I'm saying? They have Neptune aspects happening in their chart. They have a really strong moon in their chart. You know what I'm saying? But if you're out here talking about huge shift every week, and you know what I'm saying, you have just like all of your planets are in fire signs, and you know what I'm saying, you don't have any water in your chart, you don't have any connectivity in your chart, that's a red flag. So ultimately, just make sure that you do your homework on people. And what I feel is that the reason why people get divinatory work from people that really shouldn't be doing all that is because people are insecure. People don't think that they are worthy of giving themselves advice and following their own intuition and their own gifts. You know what I'm saying? Sure, there are people that are more connected, but for the most part, every single being in existence is connected to source. Every single being with any level of comprehension can learn how to read tarot cards, can learn how to read their astrology chart. So we're in this society, you know, everybody wants things given to them. And that's fine. If you're working, some people don't have time to read all day and learn all of that stuff. And if that's you, that's cool. But just make sure that you know that you have all of the power, all of the connectivity, and you can do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go to other people. And that's why I feel like a lot of people end up taking advice from people that they shouldn't, because they feel less than that person. Because that person might puff their chest out a little bit. Maybe that person wears a lot of dark colored lipstick and they got all the witch vibes. And maybe they have a really strong Mercury too. So they're able to talk you into their services. They're able to make you feel like they just got it going on. But really, that's your own insecurity, for you to not see and understand, like, oh, wait, this person, I'm looking at their life and I'm looking at the energy that they're putting out. I think I've probably been through enough to give myself advice that is on that level. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you have that discernment. Exactly, Foxy Libra, like 100%. Use your discernment. Make sure that you really, study up on people. Make sure that you're getting the right information. And don't be afraid to go and get the information on your own as well. And there are absolutely some fantastic diviners out there. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you're going to the right one. Make sure it's somebody who, has a really strong following, who has their reviews public, things of that nature. We got to start adding some earth to our spirituality here. You know what I'm saying? It can't be all rainbows and butterflies and crown chakra. We got to bring it down to the root as well. And, if your root chakra is all jacked up, it's going to be hard for you to be all that connected, because the energy comes down from the above and it goes down into the earth and it needs to come back up. You need to be a free-flowing channel. So if your chakras are blocked, the energy is getting trapped somewhere. And that can give you an overactive chakra, a chakra that is underactive. That makes some people feel like maybe they're more connected than they are because they have all this crown going on, but then there's nothing else going on down below. So just make sure that you guys are weary of that. I think I'm going to stop blabbing now, though, but yes, it can't be all 5D all the time when we live in 3D. Exactly. And I know that's ironic, being as I started this live talking about all these crazy conspiracies and whatnot. But that really is just the tea. It's not easy to ground yourself, especially right now. Neptune is in Pisces. You know what I'm saying? Illusions, deceptions, miscommunications, dreaminess, aloofness, faith, things that you can't touch and feel. You know what I'm saying? That energy is in the collective right now. That's why we're seeing all these crazy shows on TV with all this truth, because Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune rules the collective idealism. Right now, the collective idealism is on metaphysics, magic, the occult. Everybody wants to be a witch, so you got to be careful of that. Just because people want to be a witch because they feel like a witch doesn't mean they have the connectivity that comes through that. Doesn't mean they're going to give you the adequate advice for whatever the situation is that you're going through, So ultimately, that's all I have for you guys. But I'm probably going to be back on tomorrow night, if not the next night. I'm going to do some tarot, $11 tarot again. And yes, the OA is so fantastic. If you guys haven't watched the OA, watch the OA, especially season 2. Like, the writers of this show just know. They really, really know, and they understand how energy works. They understand dimensions, other timelines, all of that. So definitely check that out. If any of you guys have questions about, the books or anything like that, you can feel free to DM me. Otherwise, I'll probably be back on later this week. So, yeah, peace and love to all of y'all. Good vibes. I hope everybody's having a good week. And, I look forward to chopping it up with y'all again soon. So, peace, y'all.